Okay. I should be live now. Cool. Let's do a really dumb fucking thing I wasn't prepared for. All right. I know this is completely Bush League. Matter of fact, I haven't prepared for this at all. I have a couple notes. I watched SmackDown tonight. Don't ask me why I did. I enjoy pain maybe a little bit too much, but I watched SmackDown tonight. I gotta make sure actually you guys can hear me. All right. Oh yeah, you can. All right, awesome. I guess I should start off somewhat properly. What the fuck is One Man Booth? Why does it say episode 3? I did 2 of these ages ago. And I kind of want to bring them back, even if it's just like a periodic thing that I kind of do, just to do it. You know what I mean? Just to talk about wrestling, because I don't get to do that enough, like current wrestling. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm going to talk about current wrestling sometimes, whenever I feel like. I don't really want to say I'm doing this weekly, because I definitely won't. You guys see how bad I am at uploading fucking TEW, and I have tons of those in the fucking back pocket, which is actually really cool that I'm talking to you guys like live for the first time, and I feel like fucking ages, even though I literally streamed with 370 the other night. It's the first time I've really been able to like sit down and fucking talk about the channel and shit in general. So, hopefully what I'm gonna do today is just talk about this SmackDown I watched. It's only one SmackDown. Like, it's only the SmackDown that just ended about 47 minutes ago. I was about to say seconds. Yeah, 47 seconds ago. 47 minutes ago. If you're on the West Coast, obviously there will be some spoilers to this. But, why do you care? So SmackDown's move to Fox has been kind of a rocky road, right? They've been dropping viewership pretty much weekly, like bleeding it. And the one week they were on FS1, they had like 800,000 viewers. 800,000 viewers. That's absolutely insane. And I have to figure out why. I had to. I haven't watched a live WWE show, like a TV show, in must be months. It must be months. I want to say the last time I watched like a Raw or a SmackDown was near WrestleMania, maybe just after. Even the move to Fox, that draft show, I didn't watch. I just wasn't interested. And from what I've heard, it wasn't very good at all. The draft was kind of stupid. Most people just stayed exactly where they were. So they could have just said, all right, we're not doing the wild card rule anymore. Okay, done. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of doing this big fancy production that they did where they got all these graphics for no fucking reason. They had people bouncing up and down that they drafted, like Liv Morgan, even though she hasn't been on TV for what feels like years. But this SmackDown, right? This is the, if you're watching this later on, this is the November 15th, 2019 edition of SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown now, I might add. This is on Fox. So in theory, this should be the big bad, right? The big show. It's the big show, right? This is what we kind of pitched in theory to hopefully save this company. Like hopefully save TV in this company. And in my complete opinion, it's done the opposite. I don't know how. It's almost like they've gotten the money from Fox and now they've completely given up on it. They've completely given up on trying. And I'm going to run through this show. I have notes. I wrote notes about the whole show because I felt like being professional for once. You know what I mean? I felt like actually doing a proper thing. You guys are going to get some weird Inception shit here in a second. I'm going to actually... It's done the opposite? I don't know how. It's almost like... Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't hear myself. Awesome. Just making sure. I am like live and I'm speaking. It's awesome. But anyways, there's certain things in pro wrestling, okay? I've been watching WCW 1999 with 370 on and off, with Cam on and off. We've been watching it mostly as a test to see like how strong we are, because WCW 1999 is some of the most ungodly fucking pro wrestling I've ever seen in my life. It's completely devoid of any feeling of passion. It's just Kevin Nash booking people to fucking fight him at this point. Like, we're in the midsummer. He's just going over everybody. It's fucking distressing. And almost I would say this is almost worse, this SmackDown I watched tonight, because genuinely, it doesn't feel like anybody gives a fuck. It's so fucking strange. When WWE was at its worst, in my opinion, was, I want to say 2015, 2016, just before they did that brand split, where SmackDown got really, really, really good. They had kind of that cult feel to it. The Miz stuff with Bryan, even though Bryan couldn't wrestle. The WWE title run. I'm trying to think who was the champion. Fuck. I'm going on. Oh, Ambrose wasn't a great champion to start with, but obviously he wasn't. He was probably the least important part of the show, which is funny for somebody who's supposed to be your world champion. But you had Daniel Bryan as GM. You had, I'm trying to think, the tag stuff. The tag stuff was really fun. Mostly it is. When WWE is allowed to give a shit about tag team wrestling, which isn't very often, because as we all commonly have heard, Vince McMahon absolutely despises tag team wrestling. I'm not breaking new ground by telling you that. Tag team wrestling in WWE is typically pretty good, and that's mostly just because it's spots. That's kind of what tag team wrestling has evolved into, and you know what? That's fine. But it's, you know what, I'm just going to get in the show, all right? I'm going to get into the show because this, to me, feels absolutely terrible. So SmackDown opens up with King fucking Corbin, and listen, I like Baron Corbin as much as the next guy. He's a tremendous heel. People fucking hate him for practically no reason. He's very good at his job. Very, very good at his job, and that's to get heat. He is the heat daddy, if you will, the big heat daddy. So he comes out, his theme is like remixed with some like fucking royalty theme. Reminder, I haven't watched WWE TV in months, so I know these storylines. I know what in general is happening, but I haven't had to sit through the minute little pieces, that really make this show so fucking awful. I've kind of just gotten a wide picture and gone, oh, that's kind of boring. That doesn't sound like I'd ever watch that. And then I finally did. And lo and behold, it is even worse. So the crowd, despite the fact that we're in Philadelphia, is absolutely silent for a solid, 90% of this show. They perk up about once, I figured. Maybe twice. But a lot of that died down very quickly, which is weird for Philly. I wonder if something was going on in Philly tonight. I don't think so. It's a random Friday, where they just got the most, unenthused people ever. But I'll be honest, it was probably hard to be enthused about this show. So Corbin comes down. The crowd doesn't give a fuck. Nobody cares. So Baron Corbin's got his new age heat squad. So if you remember, I kind of see this as the natural progression of his amazing little stable where he started off the year, where it was him, Lashley, McIntyre, and they would just beat people up on Raw for 15 minutes straight just for heat. Heat. Gotta get heat. And this is basically the exact same thing. It's him, him, Ziggler, and Rude. They're just some fucking heels thrown with Baron Corbin because Baron Corbin's a fucking heat magnet. He's awesome at that, and that's genuinely something I'll give him. He's not how I'd open my show, just at all. I like Baron Corbin a lot. I think he's a pretty damn good wrestler for what he does in the ring. Just in general, I think that he's pretty fucking good, but I'm not gonna open with him ever. It makes no sense to. He's got the type of heat with other people that's go away heat versus me, where I watch him very similar to how other people talk about The Miz and people talk about MJF, which I kind of feel that way with both of them, where I'm in awe of how good he is at making people hate him. Baron Corbin doesn't do anything and people fucking despise him. It's amazing. And so they do basically what I've written down as weird fursuit comedy. So Baron Corbin, he's making fun of Roman Reigns. He's shooting with Roman Reigns. He makes fun of the fact last week that, like, Roman Reigns had small testicles or something, and they had, like, a little yappy dog, and be like, oh, that's him, that's Roman, because he's a little bitch. And then Corbin beat him. So anyways, out comes Billy McGee in a fucking, like, dog suit. They play his theme with some, like, little yapping over it. I found it kind of humorous just because how fucking, like, stupid it was. But, like, okay, I find value in that because it's the type of bollocks that I kind of love in wrestling, right? I love that really stupid shit. There's not enough really stupid shit in wrestling nowadays, so when I see it live, I'm in genuine awe. I'm like, that's a thing that somebody looked at and went, we should put that on TV. That's an excellent idea. Good job, Bruce. But, I mean, it's probably Vince ultimately, because it always is. But the fucking man in the dog suit comes out. Corbin has him kneel, has him shake, in which instead of shaking hands, the dude in the suit starts shaking his ass, and it's like, what the fuck? What the hell is this? Who is booking this? Who is back there putting this over? Who's like, we'll get the man in the suit, and he'll shake his ass, and we'll all have a good laugh. It's Vince. Anyways, so King Corbin has absolutely all the power in the fucking world, apparently. Him winning King of the Ring is like what I, in my TW series, believe, like, winning the world title is when you start to, but, like, in my TW series, when you win the ECW world title, you start to get a say in certain things in the show, like marketing, you know what I mean? You get a certain elevated position, you can talk about match cards with the booker, you know what I mean? You get certain privileges, and I think that makes sense in pro wrestling. Baron Corbin has won King of the Ring, and was literally able to legally change a man's name to Shorty G. How does that even work? What makes him able to do that? Is he supposed to be an actual king? Like an actual king? Because that's not how that works. It's King of the Ring. I know what King of the Ring is. I've watched one before. Sadly, I've only ever seen 2 in my time watching wrestling. I'll cue you in on this. Coming up in January will be my 9th anniversary of watching pro wrestling. So I started in early 2011, January 2011. I have seen 2 King of the Ring tournaments, one of which was won by Wade Barrett, the other by King fucking Corbin. Both times, it's just the most out of your mind thing ever, because they just do the exact same gimmick. They say stupid royal fucking puns. They go, haha, I am the king now, you must respect me. Like, doing a King of the Ring tournament, is it just done to give somebody that gimmick? Who is this gimmick for? Like, is it supposed to appeal to British people because they have a queen and, like, they'll be like, oh, royalty? Like, I don't get it. Because, and if weird enough, if you look at the 2 King of the Rings that I've seen in my wrestling time, I was just after the lit as fuck, like, Crown of Thorns, Sheamus, King of the Ring. I mean, you know, we could talk about that and my thoughts on actually Sheamus at that point, but the look was fucking baller. Like, you can't argue me that. He looked fucking cool with his Crown of Thorns. I wonder if there is any chat going on, or no, I just can't see it. Probably not. Cool, good enough. Excuse me. But weirdly enough, the finish of the King of the Ring has been similar the 2 times I've seen it, where kind of the underdog, smaller guy goes up against this bigger guy, and the bigger guy wins in an attempt to draw heat. Like when you think about Pac and Barrett in 2015, I want to say, and now this year, Corbin and Shorty G, and I'm going to call him Shorty G out of reverse protest. I was going to originally just call him Chad Gable out of protest because Shorty G is fucking stupid, but I've decided that calling him Shorty G will draw more attention to the fact that it's fucking stupid. So anyways, King Corbin has weird power, apparently, I guess, because Shane McMahon isn't around anymore. Is he the authority figure? I'm wondering that, because he makes himself team captain of Team SmackDown, which then, I mean, later on, Michael Cole just kind of says, no, it's Roman Reigns, which, I mean, what is, okay, so he can just say that? so he doesn't have any power. But then he turns around and genuinely makes a match between Ziggler and Rude, his cronies, where they're going to take on Mustafa Ali, who, by the way, is Mustafa Ali again, because, fuck it, we'll just switch everybody's names every other week, and Shorty G. And Baron Corbin legitimately makes this tag team match have stakes. He genuinely says that if Shorty G and Mustafa Ali lose, then Ziggler and Rude are going to be part of Team SmackDown instead of them. What fucking power does Baron Corbin have? Like, genuinely, what is his role in this company? I know he was, like, Sheriff of Raw for a little while, and now he's King of SmackDown? Maybe that's it? Maybe that's what I'm supposed to get from it? So then, why doesn't he just book himself to have the world belt? Like, why does he abuse his power in some ways, but not all ways? It doesn't make any sense to me. Unless he actually doesn't have any power and he just was saying that he could make that match. Anyways, it's weird. They come out for the tag team match. It's just kind of a normal tag team match. Gable and Ali are damn good wrestlers, as are Rude and Ziggler. But it's boring. You know what I mean? There's no heat to it. The crowd doesn't give a shit because ultimately, I don't know, Philly, for whatever reason, I just didn't feel like watching some wrestling, even the people who showed out. But, it's a normal kind of tag team match. It has a really nice finish. Gable does his O'Connor roll German suplex into a 450 splash from Mustafa Ali, which confuses me because I thought Mustafa Ali did the 054, because the 054 is a lot more cool. Like, it's a lot more impressive. But, ultimately, whatever. So we open up with kind of an interesting tag team match. I'm wondering ultimately if they wanted to grab that kind of rating really early. I don't know what reason it would be. During the match, though, Roman Reigns comes out and helps even up the odds because Corbin's fucking around trying to get, Ali and Shorty G to lose. And so Roman comes out, kind of helps out. They pick up the victory. And then they start playing Roman's theme. And, Michael Cole puts over real hard that Ali and Shorty G are Roman Reigns' boys. Like, they are boys now. He holds up their hands, and they were part of Team Hogan together, and that somehow makes them really close friends. I don't fucking understand. I'm not against doing that, because, hey, it's the most TV involvement that fucking Chad Gable has had in ages, and he was Raw Tag Team Champion this year. There was absolutely no mention made of the fact that Gable and Rude were tag champions early this year, that they were friends at one point. Absolutely no mention of that. It's small stuff like that makes me confused about why, you could even mention it even. You know what I mean? Just say, oh yeah, they were friends earlier this year. I wonder if that has them feeling weird, at all. But it's never brought up, because why would it be? Are you expecting some kind of writing consistency? No, the person who writes this is, I like to think for a little while in my life, I kind of saw eye to eye with Vince McMahon. We booked kind of similarly, and kind of as I've grown as a wrestling fan, and he's grown in age, we just don't connect anymore. I just don't understand what the fuck he's doing, ever. I approve of using Roman to try to get Shorty G and Mustafa Ali over, but Michael Cole goes in hard and is like, these are Roman Reigns' best friends, new Shield coming next week, these are the boys, they are the dogs. I assume it's leading to because in my head, this would lead to a Survivor Series match, right, between Roman and Corbin and his guys, right? You know what I mean? Everybody else gets a couple guys, maybe some dudes who are already feuding. Bang, we're done. We're going in with that. Team Reigns versus Team Corbin at Survivor Series. But Reigns and Corbin and Ali and Shorty G are all part of the SmackDown team. So the SmackDown team is dysfunctional as fuck. So, they're going to lose that match ultimately. And I think if you're kind of going off what people are saying, Kevin Owens will turn on Team Raw and help NXT, and then Team NXT will win that, maybe. I'm not necessarily sure. I don't care enough to, like, make a prediction on this. If I did, I'd just give you it. But I'm guessing that's how it'll play out. But then again, you know, WWE likes to just do random shit to whatever it is to defy expectations, or whatever the fuck they always say it is when they do something that makes no sense for the sake of doing something that makes no sense. To be honest, defying expectations is just the 2019 equivalent of, like, it's a swerve, bro. You know what I mean? Like Car Crash TV. Anyways, so moving on, we go to a Firefly Funhouse segment. Bray puts over the fact that later on tonight there will be Miz TV with Daniel Bryan. You know, he says, I'll be watching, and maybe he will be too. Oh man, what's the Fiend gonna do? Because he attacked Daniel Bryan last week for seemingly no reason, even though it's very obvious that the Fiend is supposed to be vengeance. You know, he's supposed to be this ultimate vengeance that Bray Wyatt is having over the people who have wronged him. And you remember when Daniel Bryan very famously joined and then turned on the Wyatt family in the span of like 3 weeks? Yeah, that would be it. Anyways, the Fiend turns the Universal Championship blue. It somehow looks even worse than the red one. Remember how the red one looked fucking terrible? Do a quick Google of the blue Universal Championship, the Blue Universal Championship, if you will. It's ungodly. It's fucking awful. I don't understand how this belt could look any worse. You could do thousands of different things with the belts. You're on Fox now. You can change the fucking belt designs again, Vince. You don't have to fucking stay pigeonholed. But no, he makes the fucking strap of the belt blue. I think it looks terrible. I think it's one of the worst looking belts I've seen in the history of wrestling, quite genuinely. And I mean that because the Universal belt, to me, looked kind of unconventional, but it was fine. The blue belt looks really stupid. My only hope is that we start calling it the Big Blue Belt, because that has alliteration, and that's kind of hype. Moving over to the chat, we got our first thing. Awesome. Thank you. That guy 64 says, it seems like anytime that WWE does the dysfunctional team angle, the dysfunctional team always goes over. I can't think of the last time they did that, but I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if just Roman fucking carried his boys to victory. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't know. I mean, but they pinned Roman clean. Well, not clean. Ugh, I shouldn't say that. But they pinned Roman on the last episode of SmackDown. Corbin aligned with his new Heat Squad and Rude and Ziggler. And, you know, I guess they're just a group now. They were talking about, the big dog, we don't have confidence in him anymore, when they helped screw him over and like a big haha, you know what I mean? Whatever. Zessie Ham says, why would they change the color of the title now when their champion's main color is red? I think, yeah, he wrestles in red light. But I think ultimately, I don't think anybody thought this through at all. I think genuinely, Lesnar was always supposed to be on Raw with the WWE belt. And so the Universal belt went to SmackDown, and somebody was like, wait, hold up. Shouldn't it be blue? Like, what if it was blue? Like Eric Andre show. And yeah, they just made it blue. I don't know. I think Bray maybe should just change his color. That's my best pitch to save it. Or fuck it, make it a different belt. You know what I mean? Maybe do a black belt with some like red plates or something like that. That could be interesting, right? Like, you can change up the belt designs now. You have the money, and I know obviously they didn't switch the original belt designs because of money. They wanted to be like the UFC, because the UFC wants to be like the WWE, and the WWE wants to be like the UFC. As much as possible, they want to be the exact same fucking company. Like, baddest motherfucker championship and all. I don't even know. I agree. Probably one of the most jarring things is that Bray, like, the Fiend has red accents to him. He wrestles under red light. He was in the red Hell in a Cell. He wears a red fucking shirt on Firefly Funhouse, and he's got a blue championship belt. He's got a fucking blue championship belt. Anyways. Nothing much else to say there. Moving on. We come back from commercial, And we kind of recap the Braun Strowman Tyson Fury thing. So obviously there's going to be something going down here with the two of them. Braun's theme hits. He goes down to the ring, and already in the ring are, and oh my fucking god, why did they do this to him? The B team and Drew Gulak. And the first thing I thought of was, how long has Gulak been on SmackDown? Like 3 weeks, and he's already here with the B team. And so basically Drew Gulak insults fucking Braun, calls him stupid, says, I'm going to make things easier for you to understand. He does a slideshow where it's literally just basically one slide, and it just says, Drew Gulak saves Team SmackDown. And it's like, okay. Thanks. Like, then Braun just snaps, beats down all three of them, and right when I'm thinking Tyson Fury will come out and something will happen because they allied together last week to beat up the B team, Tyson Fury just doesn't come out. He's just not here. I don't know. I assumed that's what we were building to. I was like, maybe the B team and Drew Gulak together, all three of them, will start to get an upper hand on Braun somehow. Maybe somebody will use a weapon. Maybe somebody will, something underhanded, kick him in the balls. I don't know. They love to do that. But no, Braun just beats them all up and then leaves. That's it. That was the entire segment. I don't know what the fuck to say. There's nothing to say about it. The only thing I'd say, it's exactly what I'm talking about when I say there feels like there's absolutely no heart, no thought behind any of these segments. It's, we need a Braun Strowman segment. Let's do the thing we did last week, but without Tyson Fury. Yeah, that works. Thank you, Rhino. Appreciate it. That guy 64 says that they did the dysfunctional angle on Survivor Series last year. Team Raw hated each other, and they won. Yeah, but wasn't last year like when they tried to do the weird like Shane McMahon is destroying Raw from the inside, like he's like James Dolan with the Knicks, but like they didn't go all in on the Shane McMahon angle till like months later, so it just jobbed out SmackDown, and then that was it for like no fucking reason. They were swept like 9-0. Rhino says, I feel bad for Gulak. Had that good match with Leo in NXT, then job from there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Gulak ever was going to do much on the main roster, just because I don't think Vince can see the value in him at all. I just think Vince thinks, what's his best character in theory? Gulak's best character really is being a killer. Like, he's supposed to be like a rough and tough wrestler boy. Vince has guys who can do that, but are bigger. So just what's the value in it? Might as well just be a comedy jobber. I thought he'd stick around in NXT, especially after the Leo thing. I thought he'd just move on and start fighting for like the North American belt, because I think that's absolutely where he fits in. Like him, Roddy, Velveteen, they all kind of bring different stuff. All the guys who are around there. If you want to say that like Riddle's in that conversation, Keith Lee. You know what I mean? Like that would be the perfect place for him, in my opinion. But I guess I'm not writing a wrestling show, am I? So we get a New Day promo backstage. Kayla Braxton's interviewing them. Kayla Braxton says, probably my favorite line of the night. Kofi, Big E, do you think you can win tonight, retain your championships tonight, without your partner Xavier Woods at ringside? So the New Day won these belts last week. Xavier Woods was not there last week. They literally won the fucking belts without him. What is happening? Like, do they not even fucking look back at what they did last week? Do they just not care? Do they think that I don't care? Because ultimately I do. That doesn't make any sense. That's a dumb fucking question. I absolutely do not understand why in the world that was the question. Anyways, so the New Day say that they won the belts in honor of Xavier Woods. And at this point, I'm like, bruh, he's not dead. Like, what the fuck? Get over yourselves. He's just hurt. He could probably be there at ringside if you really needed him to. He's on crutches. You know what I mean? You could just have him hang out. That's all he really ever does anyways. He hangs out and gets the heat. Or I guess the pop here. So we go into the New Day versus the Revival. It's a match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. My very first note I have here is, why is this happening again? So basically, I just said really quick, there was a tag belt switch because heel versus heel versus heel is a no-no. If you remember, they had like a graphic out for like a couple days that was Raw Tag Team Champions. I refuse to call them Ivar and Eric. I literally don't know which one's which. I just know them as Hanson and Rowe. So the Raw Tag Team Champions, the War Machine, Raider, Viking, Kings, versus Red Dragon of the Undisputed Era versus the Revival. I was really hyped for that. The moment I saw that graphic, I was like, that's going to be fucking awesome. You know that it's going to be all about like the Viking Raiders using their size against two tag teams that are like clinical, like, you know what I mean? Like clinical fucking like mat-based, submission somewhat based wrestlers, striking based wrestlers, you know what I mean? Guys who can pick people apart. They work with their brain. But just in general, right? They took the belts off of the Revival, which sucked because, I'll be honest, I didn't know the Revival were SmackDown Tag Team Champions until I saw that graphic. I was like, wait, how long have they just been on TV? I genuinely thought they hadn't been on TV in months since I'd seen them on Raw when they lost to, like, God. Last feud I can think of them in was, like, when they were feuding with, like, was it, like, the B team they were fighting every week near Mania? I don't even remember. But anyways, I didn't even know the Revival were, like, around. Yeah, that's fair, Cornbread. Rhino says, Woods is a great wrestler. I wish he had more of a spotlight, but I feel Big E could be the big star of the New Day. Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't want to see the New Day split. I just don't. I think those three together really work well together. Even if we kind of do what we did with Kofi, where we let Big E kind of do a singles run for a little bit, and then maybe bring him back in, I'd be down to see that. But I think Big E has like too much. I genuinely believe he has too much charisma about him to be a really hated heel. Because, you know, typically when big man heels in the Fed, they just have to be silent brutes. Big E isn't that. I just don't think he could do it. Not to the effect that they want it. I wrote here, Rose Eric. Oh, sorry. That guy 64 says Rose Eric and Hanson is Ivar. I know you're going to forget this next time you think of them. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe because I haven't seen a match of theirs. I genuinely have not since they've come to the main roster. I'm totally like uninterested in them now that they're kind of just not interesting anymore. Once kind of their wrestling opponents, I guess, kind of dipped in quality. I don't know if they raise themselves to other like teams that they're facing and they haven't had great competition, because whatever, they had that weird feud with like Ziggler and Rude and Gable and Rude, and it's a lot of Rude for some reason. Anyways, I've written here with the Revival, I hope these boys jump ship to AEW at some point. Tag team wrestling just doesn't seem to matter here. I actually go on to list off like Revival, LAX, the Bucks, the Best Friends, Jurassic Express, Dark Order, and I guess SCU, because I don't like SCU that much, but that's just because I'm gonna say something kind of controversial. I really don't like the fact that like 50-year-old Christopher Daniels is still wrestling. I get using him as like a promo, absolutely, but wrestling is like, I don't know. He's just like, he's still pretty good, but I just don't approve. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you hit like a point that maybe you should just, you know what I mean? Maybe you should just like not anymore, man. Like, it's like move over or something. I don't know. Zesty says that War Machine are faces. Are they? I don't even know that. I thought they were heels. Didn't they debut as heels, became faces, became heels, became faces, and now they're heels again? I thought they had, like, Big Show booking. If you want a platform in wrestling, AEW and Impact got you. I would say AEW definitely. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from AEW this week. This kind of just time in general. And that's not to say that I think they have the best wrestlers even. I think NXT and WWE's talent pool in terms of wrestling is... Excuse me. I had to cough there. I think NXT's talent pool is miles deeper, because they can pull from 205, they can pull from the main roster if they need to. I think they've just got so many different brands that they could just all of a sudden pull a dude from, do something really interesting. The AJ Styles thing, they kind of teased Bayley coming down for a match. I just don't think that AEW can really compete in like a match quality standpoint. But in terms of like production, presentation, and feeling, I think AEW definitely feels a lot more important to me. Like Dynamite feels a lot more important than any given individual episode of NXT. SCU gimmick is very stale for me. Like, why do they say it in every town? Yeah, to me, the SCU gimmick died the moment they started doing it, like with wrestling. When it was just that fun little bit that got them on being the Elite, I kind of dug it just because it was kind of funny. But like then they started having Scorpio Sky say it, and not even joking when I say this, you can go find clips. Scorpio Sky says the SCU thing, like, this is the worst town I have ever been in. And like it's like it literally sounds like disappointment. Like it's like, oh, okay. Anyways, so back to this tag title match. This is the most fucking ridiculous. This is the most fucking ridiculous thing that has happened on this entire show for me. It's the most insane piece that I picked up on in this show. Big E and Kofi have black armbands that say XW on them in white writing, like the EG ones that Rey Mysterio and Chavo Guerrero wore when Eddie Guerrero actually died. Like, is Xavier Woods dead? Did I miss that? Did I genuinely miss when Xavier Woods died? Because, holy shit. Like, who said that was okay? Like, okay, I'm not a big, like, policeman in wrestling. I'm not gonna be like, you can't do that because that happened there, or that has some kind of significance there. I'm totally down for that. But, like, God, it could have been a, like, more severe injury. Xavier seems like he's fucking fine. Like, he's just not gonna be able to work for a little while. He's not, like, concussed. Doesn't have, like, brain damage. He's not, like, he doesn't have a broken neck. Like, Jesus. State of it. Anyways, I literally just have written here, Wilder and Dawson are so fucking clean. They're so criminally underused. They're so great. They're absolutely, they're just top, they're top guys. Cornbread says, AW doesn't have the best wrestlers, but they do more with what they've got than WWE. I think so in terms of presentation. As I kind of said, I feel like every Dynamite feels important when compared to NXT. NXT feels small. And, I mean, I know it's kind of supposed to. They run Full Sail for a reason. But, you don't have to listen to me say it. You could go listen to thousands of people who have way more informed opinions on wrestling than me. But the Full Sail crowd can't handle 2 hours. You can't. Was killed in that part. Yeah, he pretty much was. Should tell us when Woods' funeral is. Exactly. If he's dead, give me proof. I want to see the body. They bring up here, actually, Corey Graves' podcast, the After the Bell thing, which I kind of checked out a couple minutes of, and I didn't realize it was it's just a shoot podcast. Like, it's just literally him talking about the company. I'm actually really interested in it. I may have to listen to, like, the whole thing at some point, because I listened to, it was a clip that they had on WWE's YouTube channel, where he talks about Survivor Series, and he talks about the thing everybody knows about Survivor Series. It doesn't fucking mean anything. What do you get if you win Survivor Series? Bragging rights. Ooh. He pitches something that, I mean, if you guys were here for my, with the WWE 2K20 stream that I did with 370, I run a personal universe. But, I run like a personal universe mode, and I just did my Survivor Series, literally today. And my solution to this was whatever brand wins the Survivor Series gets the main event of WrestleMania. Because all 3 shows are on the same pay-per-views, because, you know what I mean? Fucking, I don't want to fucking make other pay-per-views. And then I listened and I heard him say that the winner of the Survivor Series should get the main event spot in WrestleMania. That absolutely makes sense to me, because you need to tie that in somehow. And also, it's November. That gets people thinking about Mania again, right? Because Mania is right around the corner. All of a sudden, boom, you're at the Rumble. Boom, you're doing, like the Chamber, boom, you're at, I guess, Fastlane, and then boom, Mania. You know what I mean? Like, you're so close to Mania, and you really don't even think you're that close. But they should absolutely, I think, do something to tie that in. It's such a good idea. I don't know why they haven't bothered to do something like that. It almost makes too much sense. The Revival at one point in this match say, "Oh, this is for you, Randy," and they go to do a like double like apron drape DDT or like a rope drape DDT. I still think that trio had legs from kind of earlier this spring, I guess it was. The Orton Revival group definitely could have been really cool. Whatever it was, RK. What was it? RK something? RK. I don't remember what the hell it was. It was RK something. But I always thought that they could have done something fun. They're kind of all just bitter. Like, I guess that's just their gimmick, bitter. I don't know. I always thought it could have been kind of fun, but they kind of just dropped it, even though maybe they didn't. They kind of roll Big E back into the ring, hit a shatter machine on him, and I was actually like, oh shit, yeah, fuck yeah, we're gonna put the belts back on the Revival. I'm really dumb, apparently. I bite really easily. Kofi jumps in from the apron, springboards in, lays out both members of the Revival to stop the pinfall, and the crowd's alive. For the first time tonight, the crowd's like, holy shit, fuck yeah. They start chanting, "Let's go Kofi," which turns into a New Day Rocks chant. Hold on again, I got a cough. It's the problem with talking for too long. You start to... I should have gotten water before I started. Anyways, let's go Kofi, New Day Rocks chants, and then right as the crowd get into it, right as the crowd are feeling it, they're just like, yes, this is good, this is quality wrestling. The Undisputed Era comes out and beats them down. I need to talk about this invasion angle, and I'm going to wait until the point where it pops up again later in the show to prove my point. The Undisputed Era lay everybody out, and then Michael Cole says, "The SmackDown locker room is emptying." It's like 6 fucking nerds. Like, it's just 6... It's like Heath Slater, 2 members of the Lucha House Party, Heavy Machinery, and I think, like... No, maybe that was just it. Maybe it was just the 5 of them. Anyways, it's just a whole bunch of random fucking nerds who chase off the Undisputed Era. I'm like, okay, no, hold on. What the fuck? We come back from the break, and Heavy Machinery get a squash match. What? Did I miss the point when all of a sudden they mattered? I must have. Because last time I checked, they were basically comedy jobbers, and now all of a sudden they're competent wrestlers. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I feel like when I'm just seeing updates from things like YouTube or Twitter, I'm getting most of the package, but then there's something like this that makes no sense to me. Where did it come from? Has this been a thing the entire time? I don't know. I just don't get why they do it. They kind of do a comedy match. I literally stopped paying attention. There's no reaction for them. They're not over because you jobbed them out like the first couple weeks they were up. There's some casual shaded Billy Gunn. One of the jobbers' name is Kip something. Corey Graves says, "You ever meet anyone tough in your life named Kip, Cole?" And Cole says, "Haha, not that I can think of." And so they're, ooh, get fucked, Billy Gunn. Haha. Whoa, watch out. Like, okay, whatever. Tell us backstage. It's a Hug Life interview. I called them Hug Life because I don't want to call them the Boss and Hug Connection. That's a really stupid name. Hug Life was right there. Hug Life was right there. Rhino tells me Heavy Machinery has turned into a biggest thing only because Otis. Yeah, I assume Otis is like comedy over. You know what I mean? Like, he does the worm. He gyrates. Kind of like, he's like Big E, but like white and fat. And can't cut a promo. Anyway, so they talk about Shayna Baszler, like all the different jumping they've done, their match with Becky Lynch coming up. Bayley's a really fucking awful heel promo. She's atrocious. I don't buy her at all as a heel. She's not mean. Not at all. She's still Bayley. I don't really know how to fix that. She might just be bad. As I said, also in here, Sasha Banks is certainly here. So they set up that up next, Bayley is going to fight Nikki Cross for like the 7th time on this fucking program. And if Nikki Cross wins, she gets on Team SmackDown. She's gonna be on Team SmackDown. Bayley and Sasha are like, fuck her, nah, she trash. She's not gonna be on our team. Anyways, as Nikki Cross is coming to the ring, Michael Cole says, "Here comes naughty Nikki." I'm like, no, please stop, please, gods, give me the strength to get through this show. I've literally written here, state of this show. Bayley comes out, and I want to say about 30 seconds into the match, Shayna Baszler just comes in and attacks everybody. And it's like, okay, Bayley kind of runs away. She's like, I don't want to get beat up, I guess. Because, that's how heels act, I guess, even though Shayna's a heel. And then Rhea Ripley's Survivor Series, War Games team, minus Candice LeRae, plus Dakota Kai for some reason. So it's Ripley, Knox, Kai, and Mia Yim. They kind of ward Bayley back in the ring. They beat her up. And then Sasha drops Shayna. There's just a big brawl full of, random people, like Sonya Deville, fucking Dana Brooke. I'm like, are these your champions? Are these those you hold up? Like, oh my fucking god, state of this. I have written here, this show makes me sad. So Sasha Banks or whatever, the NXT girls are starting to kind of run out of there. They got their hit and run, and Sasha Banks says, no, you hold on, you want a war, we'll fight you right now. So it's Banks, Carmella, Cross, Brooke versus Yim, Kai, Knox, and Ripley. I note here, so no Candice, what the fuck? Rhea Ripley looks like an absolute star in this. She gets some manhandling spots in. She's killing people. Yells NXT, does her pose. She looks kind of fucking dope. Definitely a star in the future. There's at one point in the match where everybody just starts hitting everybody with their finish. And then Nikki Cross beat... It was Dakota Kai? Yeah, she hit Dakota Kai with the Purge, her neck breaker. Good God, what a thing. Anyways, Michael Cole tries to salvage the segment by saying, oh, these NXT women have certainly stolen the spotlight tonight, even though they lost. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I got a random ad for WWE action figures during the break, and they say, you can replicate the great action and battle moves of the WWE. What the fuck is a battle move? Battle move? Okay. Almost done. Almost there. It's Miz TV with Daniel Bryan. I start this out by saying, is The Miz super over or is Miz TV shoot over? Because he's the only other pop in the night. He says, welcome everybody to Most Must See, blah, 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 blah. And he holds out the microphone and they all go, Miz TV, hooray. My guest is Daniel Bryan. You've been attacked by Bray, so come on down, Bryan. I know here, wait, so Bryan and Miz are like in theory, career-long, they're like a career-long feud, right? That's in theory, they're like the career nemesis of one another. Will this be mentioned? It is. Miz says, Bryan, I know you don't like me, after Bryan kind of stays quiet. He says, I know you don't like me, I don't like you, but we're out here, we're doing our job, I'm just giving you a question, man, just tell the people what they want to know. Bryan still refuses to do the yes chant when he comes out. Fucking God. Bryan looks old. He's only 38, but he looks like he's 40. 5 here. It's weird. I'm still confused whether or not Daniel Bryan's a heel. I think that's the point. Bryan says he's mentally unstable, which I know... Remember when that was part of his character? Just before he went on his crazy babyface run, he was kind of mentally unstable. He, beat up Randy Orton one time for, no reason. It was kind of random and lit. The Team Hell No shit. So he's Bryan starts yelling about how he's fucking crazy, but he loves pro wrestling. That's why he's so conflicted, or something like that. It's what the fuck are you talking about? It's fire, though, because Bryan is an awesome promo. It doesn't even really matter. Bryan says that he knows why Bray Wyatt attacked him, and it's because Bray Wyatt is also crazy. I don't think that's why he attacked you, Daniel. I don't think that's why he attacked you. Firefly Funhouse thing hits, and it's Bray. Bray's he says, he's looking through his box of toys, and oh man, it's the Universal Championship. And he says, oh, Daniel, you may have, but he doesn't forget. He remembers what you did to him. Obviously alluding to the turning on the Wyatt family thing. Bray tries to get Daniel to say yes. There's actually a really fun segment where all the different puppets are like, yes, and he just says, no, I won't do it. And then he says, I won't play with you, Bray, but I will fight you. I'll fight you for that Universal title at Survivor Series. What do you say? And then Bray Wyatt violently chants yes over and over and over again until the show basically goes off air. There is a moment afterwards where it kind of stops, and then Miz says, oh, Bryan versus Fiend at the pay-per-view, everybody buy the pay-per-view to see the match. And Daniel Bryan, interestingly enough, keeps looking around, like very paranoid, like he's waiting for Bray to show up and attack him. I really like that. It's never mentioned, but it's a really nice touch. Overall, this show, it's only 2 hours, but it felt like so much longer because, on God, nobody cares here. Nobody cares. The only person who might care is... I'm trying to wonder whether or not I think that Bryan Danielson cares or Bryan Danielson's just awesome at wrestling. Probably the latter. I don't know what to say, just in general about this show. It's not very good. It's indicative of the entire feeling of the Fed. They're relying on their cheap old tricks. Fuck, I got a cough again. I definitely should have gotten a water. Holy fuck. Note to self. Next time I do one of these, get a water. They're relying on their cheap old tricks. The one interesting thing that they have, genuinely, is The Fiend. He's different enough where he's not boring. And even then, at least for me, they've ruined him. With the whole Seth Rollins thing, I don't buy him anymore. I don't see him as some fearsome monster that they want me to see him as. I just see him as that kind of cool thing that Bray's doing. In terms of... God, my voice is really going on me all of a sudden. In terms of Survivor Series, it's just not interesting. And I kind of forgot to touch on the main thing I wanted to touch on because I didn't have the note. I hate the invasion thing. And everybody else bangs on about how it's pretty damn good for TV. I don't see it. Especially because we do the invasion thing every year. Every year, other guys jump on the other brand on their show. We had it last year with the women. We had it the year prior with the men. It's not interesting. It's the same shit all the time. And people are trying to act like it's fresh and new because there's a yellow paint of color on it. And it's not new. It's the same shit they always do. It's just got a new fucking paint scheme on it. There's so very little to be enthusiastic about the Fed. The few things you could be enthusiastic about are that NXT kind of in its own bubble is very cool. It's very, niche. It's very... It knows very much what it wants to be, and I'm not sure whether that's just because Vince isn't involved, because Triple H is very smart, or somebody else completely is writing down there and it's really working well. Or maybe just the talent is encouraged maybe to go kind of be themselves a little bit more. Main roster WWE is genuinely some of the most boring pro wrestling I've seen in a while. And as I kind of let off talking about this episode, I've been watching WCW 1999, like the dark ages. If you don't know, 1999 is before Russo and after Bischoff. You're stuck in this fucking... It's basically Kevin Sullivan booking 1 week, then Nash, then Bischoff, then Nash for 4 weeks, then Kevin Sullivan for 4 weeks, then Nash for 2 months, then Kevin Sullivan for 2 weeks. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Survivor Series being fully brand competitive, I don't hate that idea. It's a cool pay-per-view idea, but I wish they had kept it separate. Because remember when they did bragging rights? And they obviously really liked the bragging rights idea? Okay, that, but do something that matters. main event of WrestleMania and a trophy or something like that. The survivors for the brand get a trophy, something like that. I don't know. I'm not a genius. I'm just an 18-year-old with access to a streaming service. With that being said, I think that'll probably wrap it up. I mean, my voice is fucked. Maybe I'll do another one of these next week if people are interested, depending on how it does. If not, maybe I'll wait for a little bit and I'll talk about, like, after Survivor Series. Or maybe I'll just keep it for after pay-per-views. Or just when I want to talk about something. I'm not sure. But I want One Man Booth to kind of exist again. And so with that, yeah. Stay to your fed, mate. Stay to your fed. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, whether you're here live or you're watching the video on demand afterwards. I apologize for my raspy-ass voice here at the end. That's my Twitter up on the screen. Follow it if you feel like it. Tuck_Davidson. Maybe I'll talk about something else in the future. Probably not the Fed, yeah, because the Fed is not fun. This is Silly Tuck. This is Tucker Davidson. Signing out.